Bakshi.
It's my pleasure to speak on this important legislation. The aim of this bill is to amend Domestic Violence Act, the Care of Children Act and Adoption Act. This bill intends to deal with the serious issue of domestic violence, thereby protecting children and families from the violence and abuse. The Adoption Amendment Bill is to address the risk of children being wrongfully removed from New Zealand. The government believes that it is essential that the issue of domestic violence to be confronted with some urgency. Offenders of these acts should be made accountable for their behavior. In particular, it is important to protect our children, the future of this country. I commend this bill to the House.
Honourable Steve Chadwick.
It is a pleasure to speak to this bill, and it's nice to see the consensus in the House. And I want to say that those members that have a focus on domestic violence and the future and potential of our children in New Zealand are always the members in the House that somehow I have an affinity towards. And I congratulate the government for the introduction of this bill, and I do wish that there could be a bipartisan approach to the care of our children and domestic violence, because I believe that all parties in the House have got measures that we are desperate to see introduced that collectively would make a difference. And I think not having consensus on the way forward between political parties is an opportunity that I feel sad hasn't been taken up by John Key when it was offered by Minister Annette King. I congratulate the government for what they have done about domestic violence so far in New Zealand, but I do have to say, and I did have a background in setting up the first women's refuge in Rotorua as a midwife, seeing the number of young women coming into maternity who had been abused, physically abused. You never knew the emotional abuse. You could only see it from withdrawal and their ability to give birth confidently. That a piecemeal approach to solving problems of child and family abuse is not working, and I know the Minister opposite is trying to do something about this. We believe that there is urgency to this, and this is why I do personally like the approach that Annette King has shown leadership on, saying we know what needs to be done, we now need to get on and do it. And this bill is part of the answer, but only part of that jigsaw about domestic violence. And I just want to mention and get on the record, sadly, the opportunity for what's not in the bills proposed today that have been broken up into 3 bills. There was the need to define the age of a child, and that's for UNCROP purposes and for those that are covered by parenting orders. And currently a child is defined as anyone under 17, and in Annette King's bill we changed that age to 18, and I think that's something that I would have liked to have seen amended. We also said that when a judge declined a without notice application through the court's process for a protection order, that they should give written reasons for why they're declining, and then the applicant will know what they've done wrong in the process and decide whether they're going to proceed or withdraw from proceeding on notice. And this bill doesn't include that, and I think the opportunity to have included that would have been more a comprehensive approach. And the other issue that was raised to us when we drafted our domestic violence reform bill came from National Council of Women, who are predominantly very sensible, pragmatic women involved in family violence support services, or actually practitioners in the law themselves, because a lot of women choose to go to a woman lawyer if they're undergoing domestic violence. And they said one of the most important aspects were for an applicant to attend information sessions so that they understood what a protection order was about, so that they'd comply, and that they'd also then know where to go for any further social assistance. And that requirement to attend information sessions is not in this current bill before us. So opportunity lost. That's 3 times, and also I think this is the biggest. was in our approach, we felt that the court should have the power to direct attendance at an addiction and treatment service, and that's not here. And I think that's one of the underlying factors that we're all now accepting in timeliness that has changed so much from 1995, that now alcohol and addiction is becoming one of the precursors and the drivers of domestic violence. And I think the power for the courts to direct that you have to attend an addiction assessment and treatment program was another opportunity that we put into the provisions in our bill. So I think that's an opportunity lost. I hope that at some stage, when there is a comprehensive review of the legislation rather than a piecemeal approach, one after the other, we'll see the omission, not commission, but the omission of those small but significant steps that make a huge change to how we look at the role of police in enforcement and protection orders, the role of the courts in domestic violence matter, and how family court could have widened powers. So it's not just done by one bill, and sadly with these three acts that are amended, all of the aspects I've spoken to today are omitted, and that is a pity when we know, all of us in New Zealand now, the facts are clearly on the table. Even the Prime Minister's advisor, science advisor, has said, here's the evidence, now get on and do something about it, because we've got 4 to 10% of all New Zealand experiencing physical abuse, and we don't know the percentage of those with emotional abuse. So, Mr Speaker, we support this bill and hope that we're not back in the House within the next year with another little bright idea and another amendment bill, and that in the future Labor, when we get back into government, will bring forward our bill that languishes way down on the order paper. Thank you, Mr Speaker.
Mr Speaker.